Let me start by asking you to share with us your thoughts on the whole trial that came to an end last weekend. How did you feel? Yeah.
Well, how would I feel as a member of the legal team and being the coordinator of the legal team for the respondents? The respondents here, I mean, Ashwaju Bola TINUBU President, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and the All Progressive Congress. How else would I feel but to feel good, to feel vindicated? Also, as one who was also a director in the legal committee of the campaign council, as well as being the director for the Ashwaju campaign organization legal team. One can only but feel fulfilled that 2 years of hard work towards achieving that victory has been vindicated, at least by the penultimate court in the land, the second highest court of the land, which sat as the election petition court. So we feel vindicated, we feel good. We believe the court has done justice, though we are not unconscious of the fact that there is still a higher court to go to further ventilate the petition for those who are not satisfied with the 12-hour judgment that was succinctly, thoroughly dissected, and, very insightful by the Court of Appeal on Wednesday. So we are happy, we feel good, we feel vindicated, and that's it.
A few months back, I read something you posted on the platforms where you were saying that you were so convinced that with the
Quality of evidence.
quality of that, there was no way the opposition could beat you to it.
Yeah, you see, don't forget, we had a very healthy crop of lawyers, led by Chief Ole, Olanipeku, and consisted of some very, very experienced hands in these election petitions. Senior advocates, well over 50 of them, including those who volunteered their services. We have members of the Altar Bar who also were well over 50, including volunteers, and even many more, who were not in the legal team at all, who all brought their collective knowledge and expertise into the defense of this petition. And in so doing, we left no room for any errors. And the Court of Appeal, of course, agreed with us. The Court of Appeal left nothing untouched, even the minutest details. Because contrary to what some are wanting to make believe, the Court of Appeal, in its judgment, did address the issues of preliminary objection.
Okay.
It did address the issue of opposition to admissibility of certain pieces of evidence and witnesses, even as it upheld our objection in some instances, and it rejected our objection in some instances too. So also, the petitioners also raised certain objections to our own processes too, and our own evidence. And when we considered everybody won some, lost some. It not said then the objections, it was also same with both parties. But the court now went ahead and said, notwithstanding upholding these objections, they will still go into the case on its merits, what I would possibly call a second bite. So notwithstanding that, we ought not to even go into it, but we will go just for posterity and for the sake of the higher court and as provided by law, Constitution to be precise. So the Court of Appeal went into that, and that's why that judgment took so long. And a lot of people also don't remember that there were 3 petitions that were considered and consolidated in that judgment. There was this petition of APM, All People's Movement.
Yeah.
There was the position of Labour Party and the position of PDP. And it took the argument in each of the petitions and came to the conclusion that there was nothing and those petitions lacked merit. For the APM, the issue had not really been ventilated. Their own grounds was there was issue of double nomination of the vice president. That matter had been concluded and determined by the Supreme Court on May 26th, 2023. Incidentally, I argued that appeal up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had decided that, but the APM still wanted the second bite. For whatever purpose, the Court of Appeal obliged them. They ought not to, but they did. So these were the issues. They came with the issue of 2/3 of Abuja, Section 134, and neglected to read Section 299 of the same Constitution. They came about the issue of somebody went to school. They came about the issue of justice. All these are things that are totally extraneous, and all were duly addressed. So the Court of Appeal left no issue unattended to, not a single one. So, in my opinion, it's a good judgment, and many senior lawyers have said so, devoid of sentiments. But again, as lawyers too, we have the opportunity, as provided by law, for appeals to the Supreme Court, which everybody will look forward to, and we are waiting to receive the notice of appeal and the briefs, and we'll go back to the Supreme Court and further ventilate.
But how do you see the years back? I mean, if the case is in court, you allow the court to do its job and all that. But lately, you've seen people commenting on social media even before the judgment was delivered.
You see,
How do you cope with all of that?
let me say this. From day one, our legal team took a decision not to speak with the media. And if you see from day one of the trial, not once did you see any member of our team address the press after the day's proceedings. For us, it's unethical, it's unprofessional. For the media, the trials are open. So why would you sit in the court all day, taking your notes, recording the proceedings, and when I come outside, I start litigating the case? We said we're not going to do that. We are not going to intimidate the judges. We are not going to misinform the public. Because there was a lot of misinformation out there. There was a lot of intimidation. All eyes on the judiciary. Unprecedented. Yes, we all had eyes on the judiciary because of the nature of the case. And the judiciary has now spoken. Then there was the social media, which we don't reckon with, because in the social media, like they say, it's I don't want to compare with the market because there is even still some sanity in the market. It's almost like a jungle where all manner of cacophony of voices of the ignorant are thrown into the mix. All manner of people are saying all manner of things. Some religious, purported religious leaders, and I was happy a few days ago when Pastor Kumuyi said those who call themselves men of God. Who call themselves, because we're all men of God. We're all God's creation. So nobody is more a man of God than me. I'm a man of God like any other person. But those who call themselves, who ascribe that to us, many of them, we even saw some who went on social media in their churches, put photographs of the judges on screens and were purportedly or making, I don't know whether we call it prayers, or they were pronouncing orders to the photographs of those judges and mentioning their names. We saw all of that. We saw those who were intimidating, outright intimidation of the judiciary. We saw to those who said they know the business places of children of the justice and they will burn them down and all of that. All those was. And Justice Okoro JSC of the Supreme Court in PDP versus Kashim Shettima Bola Tinubu APC, on a similar matter, had warned that stop intimidating the judiciary with the social media. Where Justice Bolaji Yusuf JCA did say, you will not expect the court to go to the market to find evidence for you on the social media and be using social media to intimidate. So, but for us, our eyes were on the ball. We know where decision lay, we knew it was with the courts, and we focused on where we know justice will be done. Not on social media, not on cacophony, not by those who are untrained in the law, not by those who are totally ignorant. And that's why we focus. So we were not bothered about what the social media was saying. We just remained focused. And like even our client, Ashwajibola TINUBU, has said, he said he doesn't even look at it. They thoroughly abuse him. And he just developed a thick skin. And that was the attitude we adopted. It's just unfortunate that some persons will now ascribe to themselves what the votes they never got, what they could not prove in court, and they call that the court of public opinion. Whose opinion? Whose public? Whose public? Is it the public opinion? Even when they talk about public opinion, they talk about the opinion of right-thinking members of the public, not mobs. Those were mobs. Those were not right-thinking people. If you have a good case, you don't need to resort to intimidation, to abuses, to insults, to blackmail. So we never bothered about the social media, and that is why we never, at any point, responded to any of those cacophony out there. I mean, look at the most pedestrian one that came after the judgment. That first, it was said that a certain Fashola wrote the judgment, for crying out loud. Fashola, though a senior advocate, is not in the legal team. When last did Fashola even come to court or practice? Then from there, judgment came. We got a copy. As it may interest you to know, on the day we were going to get the judgment, all parties were there. We were the last to get copies. And for our own internal use, we scanned 800 pages to distribute amongst our team. Look, this is a book. It carries my stamp, Babatunde, Ogala and Co. So because my stamp is on that book, that has made me the author of the book. So if you see this stamp, why is it carrying Ogala stamp? That means Ogala wrote the book for the author of the book. It's not pedestrian. And then you now resort to what pedestrianism. To start saying some people wrote judgment. And I'm happy the Court of Appeal simply ignored them. Copy of the judgment that you collected from the court and did not carry, and I'm hearing a franchise asking the Court of Appeal. I mean, what level of ignorance can you have? I cannot say more ignorant, and I'm embarrassed that our respected past Vice President Atiku Abubakar will allow his name to be ascribed to those sort pedestrianism. This is a man who has benefited so much from the judicial process. We all knew in 2007 it was proclaimed that he could not run for presidency because he was not qualified. It took the courts to say, no, you are wrong. It was the same court that said, look, notwithstanding that the governor had decamped to AC at that time, that does not disqualify him. It does not make him cease to be the vice president. This was a man in 2019 who went through the same process. And he had been a beneficiary and allows now that he has lost one of the odd cases that the institution was brought down. Coming to Labour Party candidates, it took him 3 years through the same courts for his mandate to be validated as the elected governor. And Ngige was removed for him to assume office. So is that same judiciary now that it doesn't favor you that has now ceased to be a good judiciary? I think we need to be careful when we say these things. You win something like a football match. A Man U and Liverpool plays, and Man U wins today. Premiership is good. The day now loses, Premiership must be destroyed. That is exactly what we are saying here. And it's unfortunate that they are lying their names. You have said you want to go on appeal, you are not satisfied.
Yeah.
So be it. That is the democratic process, not unleash this kind of venom on the society, heat up the polity.
How do you take the views of the two of them? Because they all addressed press conferences where they spoke their mind, and of course they
Yeah, they said they reject the judgment and they are going on appeal to the Supreme Court. That is just the right thing to do. And I encourage them to do that. I encourage them to approach the courts. That is the democratic process. That is the civilized way to go. But when you now have people like Frank Schreiber now issuing such statements in the name of an Atiku Abubakar, it does more damage to that brand called Atiku Abubakar. You should be able to say, no, don't ascribe my name to such. Don't insult the judiciary in my name. Because the man says he was speaking for him. That the Court of Appeal should come and explain why TINUBU presidential legal team appeared on. Did they appear on your own copy? You have a copy which you collected from that Court of Appeal. Did they appear there? No. We even made an explanation. We could well have deceived if we were as mischievous as them. We could never have said they are the ones who put it there.
Yeah.
But we did. And we said it was for our internal consumption. We had paid. We have our receipts for payments. And once I buy a product, it has become mine.
Yeah.
And I decided to put my name on it. Like I've just showed you, I put on my books. This is another. So does that do it? Does this book now? So you now see my stamp on this, and you say, oh, the author should come and explain why my stamp is on what is my copy, because you decided to pick it up where I did not give it to you. Meanwhile, you have your own copy, which is certified. All parties have their copies. And Frank Schreiber is here. I even had the effrontery to even mention my name. I say Ogala. I mean, I don't know who he is, but like the Yorubas will say, Igumuji no soju. So I shouldn't even be seen to be condescending to join issues with such a low-level pedestrian talk. Talking about the 100 days of the president, how do you feel? How do you see the efforts so far?
More often than not, when people ask me about the performance of an APC government, I'm always reluctant to answer.
Why?
Because I even wonder if I may be seen to be objective in what I say. But more often than not, before when you get into that, the next thing is, because you're APC. But if one will try to be, to follow events as they have been, the man has shown, don't forget, there is a man who was portrayed as, there's some people who said he had dementia. Some saying he's unhealthy. What did they not say before he assumed office? But so far, he has been 100 days of action-packed governance. Starting from where we are as at this morning, I think about now he should be arriving in the country from India. And what has he done with the Indian trip? Clearly, we've been informed on what the Indian trip has achieved, how many $1 billion of investments that have been attracted to the country, that are on their way coming. The meetings he's had, he's met with the US president,
He's met with the German Chancellor. He's met with the Indian leaders. He's met with the business communities, all in a matter of 5 days of it. And on his way back, he's also done a whistle stop in the United Arab Emirates. Purpose? To put an end to the supposedly unending diplomatic rift between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. We are trading partners. We are friends, and we've always been. What then has gone wrong? The airlines no longer fly here. Some have said because they cannot repatriate money. But it goes beyond that. What about the visa restrictions on Nigeria?
Yeah.
It's even much more important than the airline flying. Other airlines can fly to Dubai from Lagos. You can fly through Qatar. You can fly Rwanda. You can fly Ethiopia. You can fly any airline. But what about the visa restrictions on Nigeria? That is that portends serious diplomatic issues in the interest of both countries. And if you look at the volume of Nigerians who do business there, including our exports, but more often than not, people just see the imports. They're also exports. It's also a gateway to some other parts of the world. And what about the attendant costs, rising costs of travels for those who use that route? So he's going to address this amongst other issues as they affect Nigeria. It's not about him. He can fly in, It's not about him. It's about Nigerians who live there, those who want to visit there, those who do business between Nigeria and Dubai and UAE, sorry. Because we also tend to forget that UAE is a country and Dubai is just one of the Emirates. So that is a whistle stop that he has just done. Before then, he had been to other, of course, ECOWAS. We've seen how he has offered leadership for the first time in a long time. I think with the sub-region now, I think Nigeria is now more respected. You could see the influx of heads of state of the sub-region coming to Nigeria, consultations, how he has been measured in the Niger Republic matter with the military takeover and all of that. Nigeria has taken on leadership. He sent several emissaries, including the Sultan, Muslim leaders, the likes of General Abubakar, President Jonathan. He sent emissaries to find a way as the big brother to resolve the conflict between the younger ones. Then, before now, he's been to France, and we could see the impact of this purposeful leadership on Nigeria. On a long term, on a short term, yes, we may not see it. Then he's been able to make some bold decisions. One of which is people have often said, oh, the subsidy issue, he removed it and all of that. He didn't remove subsidy. By law, subsidy was gone at the time he was coming into office. A lot of people have not read the Petroleum Industries Act to know that there was already a terminal date. A lot have not looked at the 2023 Appropriation Act to see that there was also a terminal date. And they will look at how much that has impacted on our foreign reserves. Yes, like the president has often said, they've given palliatives and they will continue to do palliatives. It's going to be tough. He said it over and over again. It is tough. It's going to be difficult. But for crying out loud, he has also appealed that we should think beyond ourselves and think about the future generation. Only recently we heard Ogala, world-renowned, saying this economy was on the brink of collapse. We've seen what is done with the monetary policies, which they continued to tinker with. All these are having some impact. It may, like I said, it may not be immediate. For me that speak, it is tough. My purchasing power today is not what it was a year or indeed 6 months ago. But what has it done for me? Suddenly we say in Lagos now traffic has reduced drastically. It shows we are beginning to change our ways. In the past, a family puts 4 cars on the road at the same time. Now people share rides. And before now, we are also not with what has also come clearly is that we'll be subsidizing smuggling. And there's no serious candidate that did not promise to remove this subsidy. Labour strike threatened, he has also been able to manage that. And look at even when people talk about the size of the government, the ministers, look at the reforms that have come into it. A blue economy, for instance, for those of us who go outside this country, if you know what the income around blue economy, the beaches, people go to Mauritius, what are they getting? It's blue economy. That's what our country lives on. The beaches. You check into any hotel anywhere in the world, they'll tell you sea view, you pay more. Canal view, you pay more. Now, that is a sector that has identified and is paying special attention to. And that is a multi-billion naira economy. Now we have a minister on the NSA for the entertainment economy. The entertainment economy is also huge. And in so doing, is encouraging local talents. They will be protected. Because by the time the totality of the framework comes into play, the foreign exchange therefrom, because these are our exports that were not before now not contributing to our foreign reserves because it was uncontinued, they were unprotected. And when you look at the entertainment economy, we are going to address issues of copyrights, protection, intellectual property. Those are things that people don't see. Talents will get value for their money. For their talents. The economy will be boosted. They will be protected. But again, many will not say that. So in 100 days, I must say this president has shown purposeful governance. He has done some restructuring and he's still doing restructuring. He has been on the road. He has been hands-on. Like I said, before now he was said to be ill. He was said to be unhealthy. But like I tell people, since January 14th, 2020, when he made his declaration at the villa, 2022, it has been non-stop. He campaigned most, he traveled most, he covered every state in the country, some twice. No other person, no other candidate. And I stand to be corrected. I think if they ask you for the other candidates or the other aspirants, manifesto, I don't think there's anyone you can mention offhand, but everybody has renewed hope on their lips. I stand to be corrected. You may want to tell me what Labour Party's agenda was or what PDP put on the table. But he brought his renewed hope, mounted it everywhere he went, and did not shy away. In a couple of days now again, he's going to address the United Nations. Sometime next week, I know he's visiting New York, and he'll be addressing the United Nations. And here we are, still saying the world, people are writing to don't accept him as your president when the electoral body has said this is the man who was elected.
But how do you explain the bitterness?
Bitterness.
That bit of it is worrisome.
Bitterness by a section. By vociferous, loud, tiny minorities. And they're extremely tiny. The fact that they make all the noise, A person like 73-year-old Charlie boy, so the 73-year-old boy, said he was going to shut down Abuja if the judgment did not go their way. Who does that? Who listened to him? What he said he was going to shut down. Did anybody listen to him? So let him shut down Facebook or X as it's now being called, if he can. But nobody took them serious. So the fact that they are so vociferous and making all the noise, they wake up in the morning till night, it doesn't make them more popular. What does the market woman in Okeari think? In the Pori markets, Alaba markets, K2 in Lagos, in Sabo in Shagamu. What does he think in Kano, Kaduna? So the fact that about 50 people on Twitter operate about 20 accounts each and sit down from morning till night generating hate message every 10 minutes does not mean and then you generate one with your 50 accounts, you like it, and another 50 of you with 50 accounts also like, and you say you have 25,000. Who is fooling you? It doesn't mean you have followership. It doesn't mean. The majority of Nigerians are not advanced in this government. I think Nigerians are encouraged. The government is communicating, is letting them see it plans, and it's appealing to their sacrifice. Nobody is saying things are not hard, but they've always been. We've just been living artificial. And what are those things that even take away the production economy? We are not producing. We are not generating. Because everything we talk about now is dollar, 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 dollar. It's because we are too dependent on imports. We look around ourselves, our tastes. I was in a discussion with some persons a couple of days ago. I said, when you have a party now, you are spending about 20, 30 million to have a party. We're all guilty of it. What takes the money? A bottle of champagne costs how much? Go and look at the cost of a party. The import content is the money guzzling. Alcohol. You want to wear Swiss lace, Austrian lace, basmati rice. Those are the things that consume. And we don't produce these things. And the president is saying we must think local. We must produce. We must go back to the basics. We must come back to our land. At the NBA conference 2 Sundays ago, he did say it is totally unacceptable and that is not going to pay to dedicate 90% of our revenue to debt servicing. And as such, is not going to take any loan. These are bold statements. We are borrowing to subsidize. There was going to be, if you're already doing 90% and you have just 10% to run your own lives, and you continue, before you know it, there will be nothing for you to run the lives. And the president made a bold statement that he's not going to do that. He appealed to the conscience of Nigerians. He appealed to the conscience of the people. He laid his programs bare. He understands the economy. And here we are talking about economy, not container economy. Not China, not go and verify. He has verified. And he's talking authoritatively. That's the president you need. We've seen his meetings. We've listened to his speeches. Both the ones he has said extempore, where he spoke from their hearts, as against written scripts. Someone who understands what he's doing. And in his 100 days, there's no doubt. The ministers have now been inaugurated. And we are seeing some bold moves. Today, the airports are being addressed. Those are the gateways to the country. There were lingering issues of Abuja airport, another runway. Within weeks, the ministers coordinated, and they are getting things moving. He had a program. He had somebody on policy coordination. People don't understand what policy coordination. The tendency is, what does a special advisor, Adiza Bala Usman, on policy coordination mean? Policy coordination is simple. It's like a house where everything is cleared. Ministry of Information is doing that. Ministry of, all agencies, you are putting them in a basket and you coordinate to make sure they are working in sync and not at cross purposes. When your policy is well coordinated, it's like a relay race. I start the race. I want to do a runway, for instance. The runway is going to be on land. Ministry of Aviation wants that. He will need the Ministry of Works for the estimates, the quantities, technical advice, especially for the works components. They will need the aviation experts themselves for the aviation component. He needs land. Land is situated either in FCT or wherever. The landowners will need to be relocated. They will need to be coordinated. They will need to be compensated. All this is about coordination. So, are you with me? You need the Justice Ministry, who is also going to. So, you are coordinating. You need the Ministry of Finance. You need the Budgetary Ministry, who almost totality to make sure when this program moves, is a train that is moving smoothly. And those are innovations that he has brought into governance. And then above all, a president that listens. Some have said, oh, why is he making these errors? The man came to the MBA conference and he said, I am human. I will make mistakes. I will make mistakes. It's your duty to correct me. When I make mistakes, say, please correct me. There were outcry on some appointments. He reversed. That is listening. He could have said, I will have my way. When they came with the initial palliative conditional cash transfer, there was public outcry. He suspended. That is a listening government. That's a listening leader. So it's in your face. It's communicating. You are talking about him. He informs you on what he does. Real time. You see it. There's no room for speculations. There will always be gossips. There will always be misinformation. Real time. That is one I will say. In fact, if it's on communication alone, I think he has done very well. If it's on improving Nigeria image, because when your image is good in the Community of Nations, no country is an island. None. You can't be on your own. But with a good image, your neighbors are respecting you. Time was when we are not commanding any respect. Now in 100 days, the man was elected, he was inaugurated within how many months in office? Within less than a month in office. The leaders of the sub-region said, look, come and lead us. We are seeing a true leader coming forward. They made him ECOWAS chairman. And like I said, CIA has navigated some of the crises we have in the sub-region, which could impact negatively the whole of the sub-region. And we are not unconscious of the fact that if there are issues in the sub-region, Nigeria takes the brunt, the most of it. If there is war, it's Nigeria. In Liberia, in Sierra Leone, it's Nigeria. Peacekeeping and everything, we always end up funding everything. So in 100 days, I would say yes. Though I didn't mention the speed with which I also attended to some critical laws. The electricity law, the student loans board laws. Those are laws that were hanging there and that could have serious positive impact in the economy, he addressed them immediately. And in another couple of months or coming years, we will see the impact of the electricity laws. Of course, we don't expect in 3 months for mini grid and power plants to be built. Student knows, but it's also being worked out. Those are action parts. Yes.
So what will be your message to Nigerians?
My message to Nigerians is administration. Give him all the support. You have a sincere leader who has a desire to make an impact. He indeed does have that desire. He loves this country and he wants to leave a mark, like he has left in his previous leadership expenditure in Lagos. I mean, because everyone talk about Lagos, it was his first major expedition as a leader. And 16 years after he left government, it's still a reference point. And if I must add, also his investment in the youth. I don't think we've ever had this large number of young people in any government since 1999, and even women too. I don't think we've ever had the kind of numbers we have currently.
Thank you.
Support Ashwani Bella TINUBU for a better Nigeria.